We are joined now by Utah Republican Congressman Mike Kennedy, whose district includes where this horrific and tragic shooting took place this afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us, Congressman. First, just like to get your reaction when you first heard that this happened right in your district.
Linsey, thanks for having me on. And I'll just say violence will not silence the American people. Charlie Kirk has given his life to promote his cause. When it comes to political speech, our Constitution, God-given Constitution, was promoting freedom of speech. And the fact that Charlie Kirk, in spite of great pressure, continued to move forward with free speech is inspiring to me. And I'll just say intimidation and violence, it's not going to make Charlie stand down. It's not going to make me stand down. And God bless his widow and his children and the thousands of young people who witnessed this event. But we will not stand down in the face of intimidation and violence.
Does your team have any additional details at all on where the investigation stands right now?
There was an initial arrest that person was let go because they were apparently innocent. They do have a person of interest in custody at this point. There was a question of whether Mr. Kirk survived at the beginning, but it was very clear. I'm a doctor, and I looked at the video, and it was very clear that this lethal shot, it looked like to me just one shot, was a lethal event. So outside of that, who this person of interest is and what the nature of the shooting is, this is an outright cold-hearted assassin. Professional job as far as I can tell, and this person, the full weight of the American justice system will be brought to bear against this individual, whoever they are.
There are reports that there are those who opposed Kirk visiting the college campus. Are you aware of that at all?
Everywhere Charlie went, as far as I understand, there was opposition, and he continued to move forward. And it's inspiring to me to see a person, in spite of threats and force and pressure against him, that he continued to move forward, doing something that he loved. But he always did it in a civil fashion. He would debate ideas, but would never promote violence. And that stands as a reflection for how we all ought to approach these things.
I imagine you know this area very well. What can you tell us about Utah Valley University?
This is an event that is shocking not only to that area specifically, but the state of Utah generally. My people are outstanding people, and they do not resort to violence. They will debate vigorously the issues of the day and promote the ideas that they believe in. But violence and threats are not the sort of thing that we promote in Utah. So I am saddened by the loss of life, and especially a life like Charlie's was. And for his widow and children, we should mourn. But this does not represent this great institution where this event happened, nor the people of Utah. And I'll say as well, it does not represent the people of the United States of America. The vast majority of us see that we should debate issues. That's why we have the freedom of speech available through the Constitution and the protections of our government. But we will not resort to violence. But we all know that there are people that will resort to violence, and they should be apprehended and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
I'm not sure if you're privy to this information, but are you able to rule out that the person of interest was not a student at UVU?
I have no information regarding that.
This, of course, is another example of political violence in the U.S. Governor Spencer Cox spoke on that in the press conference not long ago. Just want to take a listen to a portion.
I don't care what his politics are. I care that he was an American. We desperately need our country. We desperately need leaders in our country. But more than the leaders, we just need every single person in this country to think about where we are and where we want to be.
What's the mood among your colleagues on Capitol Hill right now?
The mood among my colleagues is reflected by the fact that we just got off the House floor. This event happened hours ago, and we did our job. There were a number of things that we had to do. Speaker Johnson called for a moment of silence on the House floor, and that was extremely appropriate. He also, the freshman class, myself included, were joined by the speaker in a more private setting later. We had a prayer, and I will emphasize yet again that we, meaning political leaders, and I'll point to my good governor from the state, Governor Cox, and Lieutenant Governor Henderson, my Senate President Adams, as well as Speaker Schultz, we will not stand down and be intimidated by this. It's impressive to see people uniting together, the people that recognize and understand civil debate is how we resolve these issues. We do not resolve these things through intimidation and violence. And so I'm proud of the way that we've approached this so far. But I see that same resolve in our Congress. These are good people that continue to do the work of the American people in spite of this tragic event.
Of course, just in the last year, you had the political assassinations in Minnesota. You also had the attempted assassination on the governor of Pennsylvania. And then last July, of course, the attempted assassination of then candidate Donald Trump. I know there's been a lot of talk about having more protection for lawmakers when they're at home, when you all are at home during recess periods. Are you at all concerned about your safety? Are your loved ones concerned about your safety?
Safety is always a consideration, and in these circumstances, absolutely, we should always, I'm an Eagle Scout, and we should always be prepared and do the best that we can. And I know that there are many people watching out for those of us that are elected officials, and I'm grateful for their service because they literally put their lives on the line. And I'll point to Sheriff Smith in Utah County, who I know is part of the investigation associated with this. These are good people that will do everything they can to protect us. But as to any sort of concerns that I have, the assassination efforts have been going on since the beginning of time. That's how some people feel like they should resolve conflicts. And I came into this recognizing that there are a number of threats associated with the kind of work that I do and that others do. And I accept those risks associated with it. And I know my colleagues, and I'm very impressed to see that they accept those risks as well. At the same point, we will do everything we can to be prepared and keep our people safe.
Congressman Mike Kennedy, we thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me on.